videotaping Dirty Socialists? Because, like, yeah. How are you?
I'm showing people having fun.
We're doing all the deviant things Liv of TikTok says we do.
Like enjoying pizza.
Yeah.
And sunshine and solidarity. What's going on, Ben?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Having a good Labor Day weekend?
Not the worst one I've ever had.
It's good to hear.
Yeah.
What's up, Bruce? So, we're having a good time right now.
What's going on, Dan?
Having some pizza.
Nice.
Pretty close to the revolution. Gonna happen any minute now.
You remind me of my father.
Oh, yeah?
He used to do that.
No, I know you're not.
Anyway, then ask us what we're doing. It's a good time.
It's a good prompt.
It's really important that we kind of reconfigure where we're headed in the future. We can't just keep running, burning it over and over again. So I think this Labor Day, it's really important to remember that in order to, socialists in the past got where they got because they saw themselves as workers, were able to connect with another worker based on their collective experience of exploitation, and use that to really build power. We could say what I'm saying is abstract, and we don't have time for that. You know what? Like I was working during the pandemic, and it really hit me that it's really a bummer. And I honestly don't have time to wait for maybe we elect a Bernie, or maybe we get somewhere electorally. We need to build a working class movement now. We need a party of our own now.
Thanks. Do I introduce somebody else?
Go ahead, just hold it.
Thanks once again to Ben Carmen, everybody. We need to build a working class movement right now. Speaking of building a working class movement, we've got some momentum in that direction here in the city of Providence. I want to introduce you to somebody who's been instrumental in the effort to organize the workers of Providence, specifically the workers of 7 Stars bakeries and coffee shops. This is Grace.
Okay. I wrote something because I get nervous and then all my thoughts leave my brain. So, hi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Grace, and me and my fellow coworkers at 7 Stars are currently undergoing the unionization process with USPW Local 328. Although some of you may have first heard about this in June, when we hand-delivered signed letters declaring our intention to form a union, the process truly began back in December of 2021. We started out as a small group from a mix of our 5 stores, meeting at night on our own time at someone's house to discuss our shared desires for an overall more fair and equitable workplace for ourselves and our coworkers. The idea of actually forming a union, of actually reaching out to a union and being able to spread the word about this discreetly to our coworkers seemed daunting and exhausting, especially while all working full-time, but we did it. It took some time, but when we were able to hand those letters over in June with over 50 signatures on it, showing how organized, hardworking, and passionate we are about our workplace, it felt amazing. Since then, the air at work has felt electric, and I feel closer with all my coworkers. This is something we did together and are still doing. We're constantly checking in with each other and in communications with people from other stores more than ever before. Being able to come together and see something like this through to completion has been one of the most empowering experiences, and it feels like we can do anything. I have the honor of representing the Broadway location in negotiations and have met with representatives from other stores to go through drafts of the contract and make sure we are considering the needs and desires of our team as a whole. The longest part of this process was definitely spreading the word and contacting the union, but once we did, they began helping us reach out to our coworkers, organize meetings, and spread information about what a union is and why we want to be a part of it. This is my attempt to encourage anyone who may be thinking about unionizing their workplace to just go for it. And reach out to a union. It may be a long process, but being a part of the labor movement with a group of people you care about is one of the best feelings I've experienced. And the outpour of support we've received and still continue to receive from the community has been more than we could ever imagine. Customers are still to this day asking about our union pins and congratulating us, and that's because unions are good and necessary and people support our right to unionize. I want to specifically thank Mike and Sam at UFCW Local 328 for being with us through every step of the way, and Bruce from the Providence Democratic Socialists of America for providing an opportunity like this to talk about the importance of forming a union and how powerful you and your coworkers will feel once you hand in that union declaration letter. We all deserve a safe, stable, and equitable workplace, and it's on us to ensure that not only for ourselves and our coworkers, but for anyone who may have a job in the future. Thank you for listening, and remember that unions are a right, not a privilege, and the future is unionization.
One more time for Grace from 7 Stars. Future is unionization. That's the message we want to hear. Thanks again. Thanks to Manny Escobar, who has been heating it up on the set. Really fantastic. Thanks so much for coming out today, pal. You want to see him again Tuesday, September 6th. He's going to be performing at the Columbus Theater at a very big event with Ted Leo and Deer Tick and lots of other people, and a big event for David Siegel. So you want to check out Manny Escobar's music, you have an opportunity to do so again Tuesday, September 6th at the Columbus. One of the things that we are proudest of here at Providence DSA is the groundwork that we did back in 2020 in order to help elect the youngest Latino statewide legislator in the country. We are proud of the work that he has done in the State House, and we are looking forward to continuing working with this very young fellow who has been an inspiration to many of us and helped build socialism here in the state of Rhode Island. I now give you to David Morales.
Now, brothers and sisters and non-binary family, I want to just take a moment to thank you all again for being here, because this is what collective grassroots action and movements look like. And I say this especially because on this Labor Day weekend, I want us to recognize and remember that by intention, the federal government has made it incredibly hard for states to make progress on policies related to labor in regards to labor rights. We're very much restricted by the National Labor Standards Review Board, and that prohibits states from being able to take the necessary action on certain pieces of issues that workers are struggling with daily. However, that is not to say that at the local level, we cannot accomplish a lot. Whether it is the continuous groundwork that we are seeing directly happening at 7 Stars, with the ongoing unionization of coffee shops across the country, but again, it gives us great pride to see it happening directly in our state, in addition to the incredible work that is being done within worker cooperatives, such as what we have seen at White Electric. That is why I want to be absolutely clear that there's a lot that we can do locally that does not restrict us from being able to protect our workers. Some of that looks like ensuring that every worker is entitled to a living wage, regardless of occupation, regardless of whether or not one is defined as a quote-unquote tipped worker. Because here in the state, if you are a service tipped worker, then your minimum wage is $3.89. And you are left to cover the rest of it through your tips. And up until this year, it was legal for an employer to take a portion of the tips that you earn. Thankfully, that is one of the few but important labor issues that we've been able to address at the state level. One issue that is currently happening rapidly, specifically towards people of color and those with limited knowledge in the English language, is wage theft. Wage theft has continuously grown across Rhode Island, and we are in a situation now where tens of millions of dollars have directly been stolen from contractors and big businesses across the state. And it gives me shame to share that for the 4th year in a row, corporate lobbyist Bob Goldberg, representing CVS, has been successful in killing the legislation year after year. Because it is entirely possible for the state of Rhode Island to make wage theft a felony and ensure that an employer who is found guilty of wage theft is held accountable significantly as it relates to financial amounts or even incarceration. They're stealing directly from their work. Why is it that we penalize petty theft, but when it is an employer committing the theft, we give them a slap on the wrist and tell them very nicely, please don't do it again. And even if you do, the likelihood that we'll catch you and actually do something is very low. So these are the policies that we have to orient ourselves in remembering that there is a lot of control and power that we can do here locally. In addition to that, also ensuring that we're supporting our unions when they are on strike. I'm very proud to have been aligned with Providence Democratic Socialists as we stood in solidarity with Teamsters Local 251 as they have spent over 1 year striking. They've spent over 1 year striking against the Johnson brothers, who have unfairly treated their delivery drivers and even gone as far as hiring scab drivers, non-unionized drivers, to come in and do the work that was previously being done by unionized drivers that were unfortunately not actually being given a contract. And so these are the issues that we have to remember here locally, and most importantly, recognize that there is a lot of power that we collectively hold in making a difference. So I advise everyone, anytime you hear of any workplace in the process of unionization, whether that is janitorial workers at the Rhode Island School of Design, whether it is directly happening at 7 Stars Bakery, or you are hearing of another worker cooperative trying to take off, do what you can to stand in solidarity with them, whether it is being a part of an informational picket line, whether it is sending them financial support, or whether it is simply going to White Electric and ensuring that they have financial stability for the years to come. Collectively, there is a lot of power that we hold. And in the meantime, I know that I can continue to count on all the comrades that I see here as it relates to being able to push and put pressure on policies that we need to pass, because I'm going to say it very clearly, 2023 is going to be the year that Rhode Island finally makes wage theft a felony. It will also be the year that we get towards a $19 minimum wage and ensure that tipped workers are included and not excluded from such important economic policies.
Go, David.
So thank you all again for being here, standing in solidarity, and I look forward to the continuous work at the grassroots level that we will continue to do, because we don't rely on any corporate sponsors, any corporate donations, or influence. This is from the grassroots all across the state of Rhode Island, from Westerly back to Providence. We're going to continue building on those momentum. Thank you.
All right, Honorable State Representative David Morales, everybody.
Hey, are those sodas yours?
So a little bit of a spoiler alert. Our next speakers are from the White Electric coffee shop. We heard earlier from Ben that this weekend, this holiday, Labor Day, is about taking time back from the bosses, being able to stand up for ourselves to the bosses and say, we deserve dignity, we deserve respect, and there's no better example of that than the White Electric co-op. They faced a situation where the owners were choosing profits over people, and they were able to stand up against that. So I'm very proud to be able to introduce Chloe and Danny from White Electric as they tell us a little bit about their journey to where they are, how they got to where they are today.
What's that?
Sorry, we're not seasoned public speakers. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. This is really exciting. I love what everyone has said so far. I loved hearing the story of 7 Stars, and I was just talking with Danny. I was like, what was the day that we got our unionization? It was almost exactly 2 years ago. It was the first week of September. Yeah, September 2020. So as maybe some of you followed our story at that time, but basically it started around the time of the murder of George Floyd, which, you know, brought a lot of us kind of to question not only racial justice issues, but a lot of other societal inequities, and did so for us as well at White Electric. So our coworkers, we sent a letter to our boss with some demands. You know, at first it seemed like maybe there was going to be some negotiation, but people ended up being retaliated against for signing that letter, and that basically led us to unionize so that we could not only ensure that we could get those things done, but just protect any workers in the future who would want to, you know, do any sort of organizing at the cafe. And then the day that we got our successful card check, the cafe was put up for sale, and we were offered to buy it as a co-op, but it was kind of not necessarily the most positive, you know, the most smooth transition, but we were able to do it, thank you, in large part, basically entirely due to the support of the community and probably some of you all, so thank you so much. We really would not have been able to do it without the support of the community. And I just want to say, yeah, it's so exciting to hear the story of 7 Stars, because, you know, even though we were maybe technically the first cafe to unionize in Rhode Island, I like that, you know, maybe now we're just becoming a footnote in that story, and that story just keeps going and going. And also, you know, shout out to other possibilities, such as forming an independent union, which is what we did. You know, I just encourage anyone, like has been said before, if you want to unionize, do it. If you want to form an independent union, do it. It's an option. You know, there's pros and cons to going with an established union, and especially I think it's up to people who are in you know, the more established unions, also during election season or other times of the year, to kind of question what their policies are, I would say, and how their decisions are made. You know, when you see in Rhode Island right now, I'm watching some of the unions endorse the less progressive candidates, and that's a little frustrating. So I would encourage people who are already in unions to, like, you know, try and help their unions become a little better and a little more democratic. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say. And I'm going to pass over to Danny.
Hey, I just got back from an opening shift, so if I'm a little bit frazzled right now, please bear that in mind.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Danny Cordova. I'm a lifelong Providence resident. I'm the son of 2 Guatemalan immigrants. I grew up down on Parade Street. I went to school in the Providence school system. I worked at White Electric, where I took part in its unionization effort, and then took part of the worker co-op transition effort, and where I'm currently one of the worker owners. Following the purchase of White Electric last year, I had plenty of opportunities, as well as Chloe, to talk about our story with the press. And I got to talk about how a determined group of ruffians who sought to transform their workplace into a democratically run one. However, I always try to underscore the fact that it was the support from the community, whether it's donating to our fundraising efforts, whether it's sharing our story in social media, or just sharing your own food service horror stories. That's all been incredibly great to see, and to see the community who actually want to see a favorite coffee shop to become a worker-owned coffee shop. And I really hope that our story can inspire some folks to take actions to better their workplace, because there's like a lot that's possible when like-minded people join up and collaborate. And that's because cooperation is pretty much in our bloodline. It's pretty much in our nature. Society would like us to think that only a singular, really smart guy can change the world. They would like you to think that Henry Ford can revolutionize the world. They would like you to think that Steve Jobs pioneered our age of communication. They would like you to think that Elon Musk is breaking ground in space travel and mass transit somehow. In truth, it's people like us who really shape the world. It's us who worked on the assembly line, the workers. It's workers who have done the planning and coordination of technological breakthroughs. It's workers who keep stores' shelves stocked with food. It's workers who keep the global economy going. Without workers, the world would be in a dumpster fire. Because these rich business owners and executives don't know how to operate a cash register. They don't know how to be a nurse. They don't know how to operate a forklift. They depend on you to carry human progress on your backs while they reap the benefits. And when you organize, they fear you. Because progress is made when people organize. So for this Labor Day celebration, please reach out to your fellow coworkers, or just talk to other your friends or your families who are in really shitty workplaces. Find some common interests, share your frustrations outside of your manager's earshot, of course, and collaborate to improve your workplace, because your bosses need you. They can't run a business if all of their employees decide to walk out. While what we did was incredible, we hope that our story doesn't end at White Electric. So please organize and win. Thank you.
Annie and Chloe from White Electric, everybody. All right. Yeah, I think that concludes our speaker program. I'm not missing anybody, am I? Anybody wanting to raise their hand and jump in and expound on the importance of the working class? Oh, Dan. Hey, yeah, no, Dan, co-chair. No longer co-chair, but former co-chair and current communications coordinator for Providence DSA, Dan Kroll.
Dan.
Hey. That's a little amplified, right? Okay. Thank you everyone who spoke today. It was really great hearing from the workers. I just want to remind people, Ben, who came up earlier, has been working with our labor working group in Providence DSA to try to help people who are interested in getting started with organizing, who maybe want to organize their workplace but don't really know where to start. We can help by introducing you to other workers who are doing the same thing. Also, especially if you are in a union and you want to organize to make your union better. That's one of the main things that we really need right now. As Chloe mentioned, the established unions really aren't with us politically, and one of the biggest things that we need is democracy within current unions. So if anyone would like to help, as a union member, wants to get more involved with organizing within their union, please talk to me or Ben and or any of the other worker organizers that you've heard here today. All right, thank you.
Dead call, everybody. All right, thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. We are Providence Democratic Socialists of America. We are doing a lot of really fun stuff in the city and around the state. We've got 6 candidates up for election this primary day, Tuesday, September 13th. Please turn in your mail ballots, vote early, vote on the day of the election. Please make your voices heard for the people who represent you, because they are the ones, like Representative Morales mentioned, they're the ones who help make the decisions about workers' rights in the state. So if you're interested in getting involved with Providence DSA, talk to anybody wearing a red shirt or come by one of these tables. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you about Medicare for all, about defunding the police, about reinvesting in our communities, about publicly owned utilities, about all the different work that we're doing here at Providence DSA. So in addition to organizing workers for a labor movement. So once again, thanks everybody. Thanks for everybody who spoke. Thanks to Manny once again for the music. And have a happy Labor Day, everybody.